Om Shanti. My Father, my one strength and one support. In silence, I recall the precious moments you first came into my life. It was a moment of awakening to the wonder of life, to the magic of life. to the essence of truth, of freedom. To the timeless beauty and magic of purity. Being your long lost and now found child, I realize that we are destined to meet. I know you have waited for a long time for me to remember those precious moments of togetherness. I am destined to claim my inheritance of knowledge, powers, and virtues. You told me that these are my eternal birthright. Here and now and forever, I know that you're always with me. You are my one strength and one support. Being my one strength and one support, my life has become secured and safe forever. Being my one strength and one support, all my fears, worries, doubts disappear, never to come in my life. Being my one strength and one support, I stand on a clear and secured path towards a world of complete peace and happiness. Being my one strength and one support, all my dependencies finished. Being my one strength and one support, I know my life will forever be filled with peace, with happiness, with truth. Having you as my one strength and one support is my greatest fortune. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
already on.
Hi, good afternoon once again, and welcome to our Saturday conversation. And today is very special because we have special friends here who will be sharing with us a number of, perhaps I would say, adventures, stories, and tribute. Remember, tomorrow we celebrate Father's Day, and although some people were saying that they celebrate it in different ways, we too will celebrate it differently today. Advance Happy Father's Day to all our fathers, and we would wish everyone could have their eyes and ears with us tonight or this afternoon so that we can really give and somehow realize how fathers are in our lives. We all have our own stories, I'm sure. You too have your own father, and you too have your own story. But this afternoon, we focus on the very children who would give their individual impressions, individual, how I would say, as impacts that their father has made on them. So I know you too have your own story of your fathers. And isn't it great to have our fathers? Whether it was a good experience or not a so good experience, our fathers are still our fathers. And we honor all our fathers, not just today, but for the rest of our lives. So, dear friends, I would like to welcome you once again to the inner space, that special place that everyone perhaps would not meet so often. But as we move on with our program right now, I would like to ask you all to be able to reach that very special place, that inner space that seldom do we really get to. But perhaps right now, it may not be yet that strong for some, but we are all journeying so that we can really get that inner journey within ourselves. For this afternoon, we would journey with you as we journey with the stories, the special impressions that our individual guests has to share with us. So, may I now ask everyone to give that special ear for us to realize our own experience of our fathers. And we have special guests right now who would be sharing with us their special experiences. And first, I would like to call on somebody who's the youngest of them all. He is actually a student of the University of San Carlos, and he's our youngest right now. He turned 18, and I would say Michael is a very special, very, very special to me, as she calls me Tita, and I also would like to call him my special nephew. So Michael is now 18 years old. He is with the University of San Carlos, his fourth year high school, senior high rather, and he's an amazing little gentleman. He's not fully a gentleman yet, I know. At 18, there's so much that there's going to, he has to give to the world. And one of those things that really impresses me about this boy, he's no longer a boy. He's a developing man of not just of intelligence, but practicality, and I would say I am seeing him into a higher vision. So Michael Randall Uy Paredes is the son of two doctors, Dr. Mila Paredes, whom we would want to see later, and of course, Dr. Romy Paredes, the natural integrative doctor, whom will be here in a few minutes too. So let's all welcome Michael Randall Will Paredes. Michael, would you like to say a few words to our audience? Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
It's such an honor to be here, to be invited by Tita to speak here today. I don't get very many opportunities to share about my dad, so I'm very thankful that Tita has given me the opportunity to share my experiences throughout these 18 years on this earth about my dad, with my dad.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sure your dad will be very proud, not just now, but again and again of you. He is the only child, by the way, of Doctors Mila and Dr. Romy. Now, we also have for this afternoon, face-to-face, I would like to call on our very own, the inner space, I would say, family member. Let's now have Dr. No, she's not a doctor. She's a nurse by profession, and she has just retired. She has been with Inner Space for some time after she left the US. She's now a retiree here in the Philippines. She's a nurse by profession. She's very caring and very courageous. That's why I would always give her that, that the title. C stands for caring and courageous, compassionate Cora. She is here with us this afternoon also to share her life with her dad. Miss Cora, please come in. Can you greet our audience
Hello.
right now, Cora?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. There is no better way to celebrate my dad's birthday. It is his 104th birthday today.
104.
Yeah, there is no,
Wow.
yeah, and then share. It was a great thing that I was invited, and I am willing to share
104.
everything about my dad.
Wonderful, Cora. Thank you for also being with us this afternoon. Now, somebody who is very close to our hearts is also here to give us a glimpse of his father. And I know from the experience that I have been having with her, she really has a father that's just incredible. I'd like to call on now somebody who is also known to all of us. I'd like to call on, you know her, the woman who is never tense, and the woman who always gives us the dramatic, yung bang, something which is more significant than anything. She puts color and she puts things in their proper perspective. She's the appreciative and the dramatician. Now I'd like to call on face-to-face right now, Miss Tensi Villa. Tensi?
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Helen, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of Inner Space. Welcome to our episode this afternoon. I've plenty to share about my dad.
And we'll get to that in a few minutes.
Yes.
Because we have two more other yes, in this forum. Actually, they are out there. I think some of you knows him, but he cannot come for this affair right now simply because there are other things that he has to attend to, more important things. And I think some of you who are in Zoom right now would see Duncan Coleman, who is now out there in Bareilly. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
Duncan. Welcome.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Very nice to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Thank you, Duncan. We're getting a very clear reception. And thank you for being there, Duncan. Also not with us in this afternoon, face to face, we also have Mario. Mario Mapanaw is based in Cotabato, and we will be seeing a video of him later. Is he around right now? Okay, so these are our 5 individual souls who would be sharing with us their father's relationship, father-son, father-daughter relationship. And my first question is actually something that is very, very common. I'd like you to describe your father, Michael.
To describe my father, right? There are a lot of times where I'm simply amazed by his intelligence and his brilliance with other people. Like he really understands like how to talk to people, how to treat you like a real person, how to value you like a real human. And that value has been instilled in me from him. And I'm super thankful to be his son. If I had a choice,
Super thankful.
super thankful.
That's a beautiful word to know. Super thankful. And you were saying before I cut you off, sorry.
It's okay, Ratita.
Yeah.
Good sa kaayo. Pero unsan eh, yeah, I'm super thankful to be his son. If I had a choice bitaw to like be reincarnated, it would always be with my mom and dad right now.
Wow, that was supposed to be my question at the last. But you're giving me the answers now. But wonderful, wonderful. I love what you have said about your dad, Michael. So I'd like to ask the same question to you, Cora. Can you describe us your father?
Well, my father is a hardworking man. He made it, he is a self-made man. He came from a landowner farmer family. And then since my grandparents doesn't want his kids to be educated because they wanted them to work in the farm, my father opposed it. He sells firewoods. He went to some scholarships for him to finish college. And when when he was building a family, we grew up with people that they wanted to share their education. And then they wanted to, the best thing that my father has a very great impact is his caring, sharing, and he has a very strong personality and very compassionate.
Wow.
To the needs of the people.
It looks like it's very reflective of the daughter.
I
So
guess that's
I
where we
got the
get-
right words. C stands for
Thank you.
caring, compassionate, and courageous, Cara. Now, thank you very much once again. I think we would like to ask our Duncan here as to how he would like to describe his father to us. Duncan, are you ready now? Duncan's coming all the way.
Sure. Do you want me to just do a brief introduction like Michael and Cora have so far?
Yes,
And then
yes,
bring on the
Yes,
more
yes.
details later.
Right.
Yes,
right.
well, okay, well, he hasn't been around now for about 10 years and he lived to the age of 85 and he spent the last couple of years of his life in Cebu
Mhm.
and with myself and my Filipino family, which was great. He came from a generation that was born during the Depression years and grew up as a young person, teenager, during the Second World War. So that had a big impact on that generation, as you can imagine, as I'm sure, Cora's father probably remembers quite well as also. But he had an artistic side, which he never really got to express in a professional way. So he became a businessman. He was a successful businessman, really top of his game during his time in the 1960s and 70s. And And yes, he had more than one family. I was the youngest of the first family, and then he had another family and another family. So I've got two younger half brothers, and we're all still very connected. By the end of his life, he was really searching for something, and I have a story about that. But he was a bit of a trailblazer, and very erudite. He read a lot. He knew a lot. He was a very cultured individual.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Duncan Coleman, I missed to introduce you properly. Duncan Coleman is an Australian who is now married to a beautiful Filipina. Her name is Inday. Is Minday watching us right now? Or is she in the cafe?
Probably not, because I've turned off the Wi-Fi, so we have a good connection.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Great. Now, Inda is also with us now and then, but they are from Barili. That's why at this point, they cannot come over because of some important things to do. But I'm so happy, Duncan, that you're still there, even if we can just reach you by Zoom, yet you have given us time. Thank you very much, Duncan. And you're already a resident of the Philippines, right?
Yes, in my
Yes.
first year as a
In your
permanent
first
resident.
year right now. Wonderful. And congratulations, Duncan. We'll get back to you later, Duncan. Now I would like to ask our co-organizer here in the inner space, Sister Tensi, Hortensia daw ang ano niya yung kanyang full name, pero she's the one person that I never saw tense at all, even if there are mga cases in court that she has to face because of some things that has happened in her NGO. But anyway, Tensi here is very cooperative and really a committed one. I did not even expect her to come because she's quite busy with another, how would you call this? Not an organization, but with a church, no? Which will be celebrating its annual fiesta tomorrow. So welcome, Miss Tensi, Sister Tensi.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you for being with us, despite the fact that, you are one of the busiest people in this fiesta right now. So tell us about your father.
Oh, my father. My father is the son of a male chauvinist pig. My grandfather was a barangay captain in old Pangasinan. We are of Ilocano stock,
Yeah.
just like Michael. But why do I call my grandfather a chauvinist? Because one night he met his family, 3 male and 3 female. He gave all the lands, and he had plenty of it, to the female, who he said, well, you see, you women, you will only get married afterwards. So you get the lands, and you boys, you're going to the States to study. You have to be professionals.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when somebody in Dumaguete who knows my family tree, said to a whole dormitory of male residents in Silliman University, when he said, I know the family of your editor. She comes from a landed clan. I said, excuse me, sir, potted. Because all the lands went to the female side and the earth in pots went to the male side. I unfortunately, but very fortunately, belong to one of the male members of my grandfather's family. So that's it. Although not landed, only potted, I really belong to the earth, to the land of sunshine.
But you're
And
talking about your grandfather.
yes,
What about
but
the
my
father,
father,
biological father?
my biological father, oh, he was always number one. Like Duncan's dad, my father also had 3 families because he was widowed twice before he
Widowed
married my
twice?
stepmother. Yes,
Twice.
twice. He had a wife from Pangasinan and a wife whom he met at the airport in Heathrow in England. And that was my mother. And my dad, he gave us a very good stepmother. So that was my dad. I'll tell you about him later.
More about him. Okay. One of our panelists in this forum is from Cotabato, but I don't know if he is live right now, but I would like to introduce Mario Mapanao, who will be giving us a recording of this particular questions that we will have later. So we're now on the second question, which I would like you to share your thoughts also. What has been the impact of your father on you? What is it that I would say, what has your father made, what difference has your father made in your life?
Well, to answer that question, we have to think, what would life be like without my dad? Because it's very easy to like imagine what life would be without him because, well, I would not be the person I am today if not for my dad because he instilled values in me. He inspired me to be a better person, a better son. And so that one day, hopefully, I may be able to surpass him.
Oh, that's something, huh? That you will be able to surpass him. But it's nice to hear from you, a young man at 18 years old, how your father has impacted on yourself. And you were saying that he inspires you. And in fact, this inspiration will make you soar higher than your dad. As you were saying earlier, that you will be much better than your dad or something. Did I hear it right? More accomplished?
I understand how like some people may be like, your dad's a great person, and then does it
Yeah.
ever make you feel like, does it give you pressure, bitaw? Now,
Does he give you pressure?
oh no,
No.
it always comes from outside. But the thing is, I don't really feel it because I know in my hearts of hearts na my dad raised me to be beyond like, feeling of lacking, feeling of like this and like that. Here's a useful thing. Like, if you're gonna do something, be useful. Don't spend your time like thinking about all these external factors of what if, what then, something like that. How will you ever move forward? That's what my dad taught me.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's quite deep, Michael Randall. That's quite a deep answer to this question. Now I'd like to go to Cora here. Sister Cora, tell us how your father has impacted in your life.
He's really a hero. And he is a legend to the clan, to the family, to the clan, to the communities, and to the schools that he was able to touch. So when he already met my mother, both of them are teachers. Aside from building our family, we have all our cousins and relatives because he does, according to him, he doesn't want the family to be left in the mountain and become farmers. So all my cousins and both sides, mother and father. So they grew up, we grew up with them, with us, going to school. So my parents, my mother, they provided housing, food, and they help him in their education. So they are now all professionals. So the impact that my father did is caring and sharing.
Wonderful.
You know how to share what you have to people. And even after he retired, he worked with Cebu Relief and Rehab. Remember
Yes,
that, yeah.
yes.
So even if he was already
Really
retired.
caring and compassionate. That's where you got all those things,
Oh,
pala, Cora.
Thank you. True.
And courageous. To imagine,
Courageous, yeah.
to step out of what other people would like to do. Like they don't want them to get educated, but your father
Yeah,
made it an effort to bring
to bring them.
them into school, no?
True.
You know?
And aside, it becomes like generation. So when
Okay.
when I had my family, instead of having a nanny, I
Mm.
sent them to school. And then my daughter, April, the moment she finished college, when she started working, she already have a scholar too.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how our father and mother, actually our father impacted on us.
Wonderful, wonderful. So before I go to Sister Tensi here, I would like to ask Duncan this time. What was the impact of your father on you, Duncan?
Oh gosh, it's a multifaceted effect actually, and this is not the forum to go into all the stories because there's a lot of years there. The initial impact was very abrupt because the family split up when I was very young. But throughout my teenage years and early years, I still had access to my father, and that was good. Overall, though, there was this kind of semi-aligned spiritual growth, if you like. I remember when I first told my dad back in 1978 or 79, I said, "Oh, I found this meditation and it's really amazing and it's really changing my life and how I feel about everything." And he was having a rest on the bed, and I came in and was very excited to tell him. And he said, "Oh, I don't believe in that. There's no absolute truth," and da 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 da. And he had that side to him where he dismissed things that didn't instantly agree with him. And interestingly enough, a couple of years on, I was living and working in Sydney, and I was living in the Raj Yoga Centre in Sydney. And he came to visit after having done a trip to India, and he'd gone and got himself a guru. So it was a complete 360, 180, turnaround from a couple of years before. And I'd found out from my sister that in the year prior, he'd started inquiring about transcendental meditation, the one taught by Mahesh Yogi, famous with the Beatles. And he met a fellow who took him to India, and he met a guru. And he came to visit me at the Raj Yoga Center, and I was living with Brother Charlie at the time, and I saw this very different side of him suddenly, and I realized that he was doing his utmost to move beyond the conditioning of what his life had been. So our relationship grew because we had more time with each other near the end of his life. And even though he'd seen me at different stages of my adventure,
Your adventure.
there was this sharing there. Yeah, the adventure of life.
Yeah.
We moved from being the father-son to sort of kindred brother souls. There was really that kind of sharing in the end. So, there was this thing that he used to do when we were very young. He'd say, "Call me Kenneth." We'd say, "Yeah, sure, Dad." And he'd say, "No, you can call me Kenneth." So he had this side to him where he didn't want to be Dad,
Yeah.
even though he was actually a very good dad when he was around and in our company.
Kenneth. Okay.
So,
How old were you then when he told you to just call him Kenneth?
Oh, I was the youngest of four, so I was about 5 years old.
Oh.
and the oldest would have been
Okay.
about Michael's age, maybe a little
Really?
younger.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was, and he also was very supportive of whatever choices I made for myself, even though he didn't agree with many of them. And that was fair enough too, because in hindsight, you grow as a person when you can look back and say, yeah, maybe that was not really the best energy spent, that decade, and et cetera, et cetera. So
You
so
have yeah.
sorry.
You have something to share in the screen?
I can show you a little bit about so you have a picture of the person. This is him at the age of 18. So your age now, Michael. He
Right.
joined the Air Force, but it was the last year of World War II, so he never got to serve. Fortunately, he never had to go into action as a Air Force cadet, and that led him on to change cities after the war and change occupations. This is him at the age of 85, 2012.
85.
And with my wife's father, Oscar, and this is in Duckett Barilli at the local fiesta.
Okay.
So this is 2012. He passed away at the end of 2012.
Okay.
And here he is with Indai, my
Beautiful
wife.
Inday. Yes.
And and it was quite a surprise to us to have him come and live with us in Cebu. We'd been asking him if he wanted to come and sort of be looked after, and he was always very, oh no, I'll be fine. He was very independent right to the last, and so it was good when he kind of decided to venture into our world, I suppose. And I used to live in the city in Capital Site near Peace Valley. And so we decided this is probably week 2 of his first time in Cebu.
Yes.
And we visited the Peace Temple there. And he was very sick at the time. He got better and moved to the Bukit before there was a road in. So he was, we were very concerned about him. We thought, oh goodness me, it's a half-kilometer goat track from the highway to the parents' house. Our apartment in the city was just too small, and he didn't enjoy being in the city. But he did love being in the Bukit, in the mountains, in Duckett Barilli. And of course, he was surrounded by younger members of the extended family. On the left is Indai's daughter and niece, and on the other side, another niece. And so, in that time, he, like I said before, he was very creative, and it wasn't until he retired from his business life that he started to get back into doing artwork. And this is just one piece from an exhibition that he put on in Queensland, Australia, about 2 years before he passed away.
What is
and
this?
He'd been to Laos.
Okay.
So I have many more, but none here at hand. So yeah, it was so I had a feeling that he was imminently about to leave the body, and I think he also knew that as well. And so I did everything I could to help him stay in contact with a sense of spirit. He loved the poet Rumi, if any of you are familiar with it. Rumi. Yeah, he was a Middle Eastern poet whose beautiful works are very much about an exploration of the divine in nature and the world of humanity. So yeah, a kindred spirit going on to further his journey.
Yes,
So
we're going to another question later. Thank you for sharing us your father. You know, it's really different if we also see the father in picture, and it reminds us how beautiful life could be with Papa around. Now, I would like to ask our dear Tensi here, Sister Tensi, to share us things about what impact her father had on her.
My father was a civil engineer who was first a builder, and then I said later a destroyer, because he went into logging because that was the business of his associate. But for every tree that he felled, he had to plant 2. So he insisted that all the logging areas he was in had a nursery, so that the trees that were felled had to be replaced. And my father had a great respect for culture. We were all over the Philippines because of his job. And when we were in Mindanao, where there were plenty of indigenous peoples, he wanted us to know them as they were. So he took us on moonlit nights to the places where our Muslim and our indigenous brothers and sisters would chant their prayers. Moonlit nights, I remember, we would cross a forest just to get to a clearing to listen to the chanting of men and women who were there adoring nature through the moonbeams. And my father was a musician too. He played the violin. It wasn't strange for me to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning with him playing some of the Filipino classics on his violin. So he encouraged us to be musicians too. That's why sometimes I got the honor of accompanying him on his violin.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a
Then,
pianist.
yes, as a pianist. And oh, he loved to read. When he wasn't at his drawing board, he was reading a book. And I think all of us in the family, even my younger brother and sisters after us, they love to read, and we all love to read, from the eldest to the youngest, 10 of us.
Thank you so much, Tensi, for wonderfully introducing your father, creativity, his love for music, and how you have grown to become also one right now as a performing artist. Now, I would like to ask Mario to come in to give us a tribute to his father too. Mario, can we hear from you? Mario is coming all the way from... He's in Facebook right now, but we have a recording because there's some problem with Cotabato. So can we hear now from Brother Mario? Okay. Brother Mario, come in now.
Thank you for this invitation to a brief sharing on Brothers Day. My name is Mario and I'm based in Midsayap, Cotabato. In the picture frame is my handsome father, the late Reverend Dr. Eliezer D. Mapanaw. He was a hard act to follow, an educator, a churchman, a church leader, a community development worker, peace advocate, name it. He was all of the above. As to what he's a little more closer to where you are in the Visayas, he was either on the board or the Cebu Community Hospital along Fuente Osmeña, was a member organization of a church development organization he was coordinating called Concord. and so the ties with Cebu and the Visayas as well. Anyway, as to his impact, just to share a few, would be his being loving and detached. Loving in the sense that he would not choose whether rich or poor, Muslim or Christian. Example was in the early 70s during the height of the military campaigns as well as the rebellions here in Mindanao. Muslims and Christians alike were taken in refuge in the school he headed, Southern Christian College here in Midsayap, Cotabato. And for this, the Maguindanao Muslims remember him because no one else would keep them in refuge at the time of such conflict. Detached in the sense that when he retired or retired, as he would say, he would, let go, even given his many responsibilities and for his status then. He was like nobody anymore. I mean, when people would not visit him, but he would, not mind and knew his place, and that it was the turn of the younger generation. Anyway, another trait would his being not only on time but before time, and for that, when people would come late, he would no longer be around, or people knew he would be a stickler for such. Another and last, I don't know if I'm already past my time limit, is his sense of humor, something which I have difficulty following, but for which I remember him. So such in brief are like some of the things I remember or treasure in terms of the impact of my dad, who has been gone for 7 years, but it was like only yesterday. Thank you, Dad. Happy Father's Day. Happy Brother's Day.
For the tribute that you have for your father. It's just like having him around too here. And we're so happy that we have someone like you who really treasures the memory of a dad like Professor Mapanaw. And, without me even meeting him, but I know deep in our hearts, we all admire a man such as your father, who has not seen any borders, but to love and serve people, whether they are Christians or Muslims, and no biases. Wonderful. Thank you very much again, Dr. Mapanaw, for bringing your son, brother, to us here right now to inform us about who you are and how he has experienced you as a father. I'm quite touched, medyo, when I was asking him earlier this noontime, he told me that he was not yet ready with the recording, because it's bringing him memories of the father. It really does. Until now, right now, I could feel it. And you're just very lucky, Brother Mario, for having a father who is not biased, who is broad-minded, rather, and who is someone who is loving to people, whether they are rich or poor, whether they are educated or not educated, one who has loved humanity. Thank you once again, Dr. Mapanaw and the son Mario, for sharing his life. Now, I would like to start with somebody, the father who is celebrating his birthday today. And I think she has also something to share in screen. And I would like to start with Cora to ask her, what is the legacy of her father to her? What legacy has your father left for you?
the legacy that Papa really gave to me, actually it's to us, the whole family, was his service to people. Like the one that the what's this? He shares a lot of things. He shares a lot of things to people.
Can we see the picture of your dad, which you gave Princess D earlier? Is it there?
Yeah, that's my
Okay.
dad. Happy
Okay.
birthday, Dad.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
I like. Yeah. It is really the service that being compassionate and what's this? Sharing what we have, even if we really don't have a lot, but still we are capable of sharing something. And number one legacy is really education. Not just to us, but as I said, to the whole family and to the clan. So Papa's, everywhere we go, like we sometimes we really realize that we are reaping the goodness of our father. He's very well known. So when we went to the US, we really have no problem of where to stay. There will be a lot of offers because we are the sons and daughters of Papa Maning.
Yes, I remember your father was really so, it is one of a kind, simply because he did not have any barriers with people, because he was really so service oriented. And I think he was able to produce a priest also, Father Forque, who is also a very caring person and warm-hearted. So happy birthday in heaven,
Papa.
Yeah.
So add
Some-
more. So aside from being service oriented, he's also a fighter for human rights. So when he was a teacher and a principal in Camotes Island, the Doranos were really upset with my papa because of his he fights for for the welfare of the teachers.
Yes.
So that's why he was also involved with the Cebuan Relief Rehabilitation Center, because he really wants to help the less fortunate.
Thank you very much again for sharing that legacy that your father has. And I think you are a reflection of your father.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, I would like to ask at this point, Duncan, the same question. What legacy has your father left you?
Well, very simply, it's the sons and daughters that were a part of his family, and the effort and guidance and the sacrifice of his time and energy to supporting and making home for us at different times. And that's really a lot of us are getting on in age, and only one of his kids have had kids, which is interesting.
Oh,
Well, actually, I should say grandkids. One of my sisters has two girls, but neither of them so far have children, and they're already in their 30s. And the youngest son, my half brother, he's got two kids now. So not big breeders, the Coleman family.
But in terms of values right now, what is it that he has left with you? An imprint on you right now, Brother Duncan?
I would say that it's to look with open eyes at the world and one's place in it, and to really decide what's the right thing to do and how to be. When he turned 80, we had a gathering amongst all the siblings, and he wrote something which he read out to us. I recorded it and have an archival video of the day. But basically, he plotted how the world was for him at each decade.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you know, we're talking about people who grew up in an era where there was only a radio that maybe got switched on a couple of times a week. Otherwise, they huddled around the piano and sang songs.
Yes.
Maybe one member of the family had a car, and that would have been extraordinarily new. So he went from that. And he said to me when he was living in Cebu up here in the Bukid, he said, you know, I grew up like this. This is fine for me. And yeah, so he saw a lot of changes in his lifetime, enormous changes in the world, in the values and attitudes of people. And of course, he would have had that experience in himself, and that's definitely carried over to his children and grandchildren.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Brother Duncan, for sharing your dad's life with us. Now I would like to go to Sister Tensi here, who perhaps can also share with us the legacy that his father
Oh, my
has
father.
afforded her.
Well, he was, wherever he worked, he was always the top man. But being the top man made him share with us his value of respect for everyone. He made us really treat all the laborers wherever he was with respect. We were made to call even the lowest laborer Mr., and we always had to greet them with po and opo. And even their families were members of our family. Whenever their families needed something, oh, there was always something in the concession that would respond to the needs of the families among us. Also, he made us love nature, because we were always where God's handiwork was. One of the things that I really treasure my father for was he loved the handiwork of man. So we loved art, you know, literature and music and paintings and sculpture. Wherever we went, we had to look at these wonderful works of human hands, because according to him, they were gifts from the Lord, and we have to appreciate them. Also, according to a lady I met 2 days ago, this is the first time she heard somebody say, my stepmother was very good. No? Because we have typecast stepmothers into, you know, not so pleasant pictures, but my father gave us a very good stepmother. She was a mother to us immediately before her children, and also to my elder brothers before us. So that much I appreciate of my dad, that he cast aside the typecasting of stepmothers, because he gave us a very good one as a model for probably all the stepmothers around. I too am a stepmother now to the children of my husband by a former nuptia. And I say, I claim, because my stepson had said, Tita, thank you for making us part of your family. That much I give to my father, because he instilled love in us.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that. He instilled love in your hearts that even if we have the Cinderellas and all these stories about stepmothers, you had a different one. And I think it's your dad that really made a difference too in taking a choice for a stepmother. And stepmothers will become mothers as they should be. Now we get to our 18-year-old here. I wouldn't want to say legacy because you're too young for a legacy and your dad is still there, no? I notice right now we have dads which have gone to the next life, no? And I would like to ask Michael, the 18-year-old son of Dr. Mila and Dr. Romy Paredes, what do you think at this point of time has been the greatest gift that your father has given you?
So my parents have given me a lot of gifts throughout the years, like, physical, non-physical, like their love, their time, and also, of course, toys and whatsoever. But the greatest gift that my father has ever given to me that I know of, that I'll always remember him for, is the gift of freedom.
Freedom. Okay. That's interesting, Michael. What freedom are you talking about?
I started to realize that my parents were very different when I went to school, right? Like went into high school. Because before that, I spent like 2 years homeschooling. So I didn't have peers to compare myself with, right? And then when I look around me, right, in high school, junior high, I realized that so many of my classmates are carrying the dreams of their parents, not their own. They're simply an extension of what their parents desired when they were their age. And it's kind of sad because you notice a lot of like, younger kids of like rich people, like made people na they're already resigned to their fate. They already accept na what they're gonna accomplish is not their own. So, might as well just accept it now rather than later. And that's kind of sad because whenever they talk about it, you can see like their eyes, right? Like dim. You could really see it dim because what they're doing is not for them. What they're doing is just a continuation of, what the last person did, what the last person did. So that's why I say the greatest gift that my father has given to me is the freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom. That's wonderful to hear from a young man like you. Some people, they get to finish what their parents have dreamed for them. But after that, they just say, I'm done. Can I do now what I have to do in my life? And in your case, you have a very, how would I call your parents, open-minded, broad-minded, and I would say they would just like to give you the love that they can give, which is really freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to be who you are and to express yourself. Isn't that wonderful? Wonderful indeed.
And also, Miss Ellen, that Michael recognizes it at this very early age he's in.
Yes. I really admire your parents and they're lucky to have you too.
Right.
They're lucky to have you too because you have been able to acknowledge it, no? Because some children also are not really that appreciative and they see things the other way around.
And Michael is sensitive enough to be able to express it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Siguro, a little later, we can ask your dad to be with us. So, at this point, gusto ko lang tanungin sa inyo lahat. If you're in the case of those whose parents are no longer there, what is it that you would like to express to your fathers right now? Can I start with you, Duncan?
What would I like to express to
Your dad right now.
to the soul of Kenneth,
Yes.
wherever he may be, in whatever incarnation? Just keep going.
Keep going,
Don't-
okay.
Don't stop. There
Okay.
is we're all heading back to the one, so keep going.
Keep going. I like
Yeah.
that word. Keep going.
I just want to say, Michael, I think you've really hit the nail on the head with I also experienced a lot of freedom. Mine wasn't necessarily willingly given to me. It was just the dynamics and the family situation. But in later years, it was very much given from my father, that sense of freedom. And it started with the eldest son many years before. So kudos to you, Michael. Good on you.
Kudos.
Thank you, sir.
Now I'd like to hear from Cora here.
Okay, so kudos to. So,
What would you like to ask, or to tell your father at this point of time? It's Father's Day. Wherever he is, what is it that you would like to express to him?
so I would like to copy Duncan's, like,
Okay.
tell my dad to keep on going and thank you for everything. What you instill in us, and we are trying our very best that what we learned from you, what you instilled in us, it will be through generations. We love you. I love you.
Thank you, Cora. Now, Nancy, can you share us your
Yeah.
thoughts right now?
Papang, stay where you are and keep on, because I know you're journeying towards where all of us want to be one day. And thank you for all the love and the good example you showed us. Love.
Thank you very much. Really, all of us are in a spirit of gratitude for all our fathers. But I'd like to hear from Michael right now. Dad is here. Can you tell us what you want to express to your father at this point of time?
So for context, my dad has been sitting at the side this whole time. So all the things I've said about him, he has heard because I was saying it directly to him. But he's recording it, in fact. So what was the question, Tita?
What is it that you would like to express to your father right now? Your message to him on this Father's Day celebration.
I've said many things to my dad across all my years, no. But the number one thing that I would like to say right now, which is the most important thing, is thank you very much, Dad. Like, despite how busy you get, how many people you meet, how much you've done. Thank you always for making family number one.
Thank you very much. It was very simply said, but it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
It's heavy. And I would wish all sons were like him, who at this age and all the freedom that he has been getting, he has not forgotten the family and how he acknowledges his dad for making family a priority. So with this, I would like to not end this portion, because we will be hearing from the dad in a little while. But before that, I would like to ask our princess here to give us the golden drops, a little break for us to perhaps listen and imbibe what we have been listening to. Thank you for the golden drops. It's something that gives us a break right now. And as we were doing the break, our only audience here at the studio, I would call it a studio at this point, is someone who has been there watching his son. And I was amazed of your son. How did you get to raise him, Dr. Romy Paredes? But before that, may I also introduce him first to all of you, especially those who, of course, Dr. Romy Paredes, a naturopath doctor by profession, a graduate of the University of the Philippines Medical School, and he is a very committed doctor who I would say empowers his patients. You are your own doctor. He is author of several books right now. And in fact, I failed to mention, there's one book of his where an 8-year-old Michael then had been inspired to do his own incredibly simple for kids. So I missed to bring the book. I was supposed to bring it here. And anyway, he's one father that I would say Michael is so lucky to be with, not just to be with, but to be growing up with. The father who has given him the freedom, and the father who has given him his time, no matter what. So I won't call you Dr. Romy right now. Perhaps I'll call you Dr. Father Romy. Dr. Father Romy Paredes, can you share us your thoughts right now on how you feel as a father after listening to your son?
Good question. Okay. Thank you, Tita Ellen. And good afternoon sa lahat. Good afternoon to all the listeners
We have a
here,
number in Facebook actually.
here in the studio and online, and those who will watch later. Well, I feel proud because in spite of all the ups and downs of life, the struggles of life, I'm proud to be the father of Michael because yes, he's experiencing some level of freedom because when he asks, can I go there? We always say yes. Can I do this? We always say yes. I remember when he was much younger, what do you want to become? We asked him, I want to become a janitor. We said, okay, go. And then a month later, he said, I want to become a doctor. Okay, go.
Okay.
And then a year later, he changed his mind again.
What does he want to
He
be?
want to become a social entrepreneur.
Oh, and right now?
And still evolving.
Okay,
Still
evolving Michael,
Yeah, evolving.
just like evolving Romy.
So it's like I'm proud because in spite of the ups and downs, the good and the struggles of life, I see the actual manifestation of, it's like the analogy is the difference between a coal and a diamond. They're practically the same fundamental. But the only difference is this. A diamond is nothing but a coal, meaning it's similar to the coal, but it is a coal that has been subjected to pressure, to extreme pressure, to challenges, and those are and Michael had been through challenges as a young boy.
I think we have to put the mic closer.
Michael, I think it's tough. Hello. Yeah. Low but there. Okay. And Michael has been through a lot of challenges as a young boy because both of his parents are medical doctors,
Yes.
busy medical doctors. But he was able to overcome all those challenges. He went through
Congratulations, Michael.
dark times, But I'm so proud that he was that all of those challenges that he has been through has created him, has led him, has made him to who he is becoming right now. And he continues to evolve, actually. That's why we give him that certain level of freedom, because we don't like to put a mold that he will just fit in. We like, we wish him to spread his wings and go wherever he wants and do whatever he wants to do and just become the best version of himself. I
Wow.
never pressured him
Wow.
to become,
A doctor.
yeah, it's low but I guess. Yeah. I never pressured him to become a doctor, although at one point I wish him to become a doctor for continuity's sake.
Yes, yes, yes.
But that's so traditional. That's
Yes.
so, it doesn't have to be that way. And I have accepted it.
That's the freedom you're giving him, actually.
Yes, yes. So he
Yes.
wants to become a lawyer, go. He wants to become a doctor, go. He wants to become a janitor, go. For as long as he becomes the best version of himself.
Yes, yes. Okay, my next question is, what has been the greatest gift of fatherhood to you?
Okay. The greatest gift of fatherhood to me is the love that the family has given unconditionally, in spite of the fact that, there are also ups and downs of being a father. And behind or embedded in that love is leadership. Leadership in the sense that you lead your family, not just in a linear path, but actually in a seemingly chaotic path. I would say seemingly chaotic, but within that seemingly chaotic path is actually a beautiful flow of allowing people around you to evolve beyond judgment, beyond limitation, beyond boundaries. So I believe that is the love and leadership.
That's wonderful to hear from you. And I've been hearing the word evolve from you, I think 3 times. Just exactly what do you mean when you say people evolving, Michael evolving?
Yeah. So when I say evolving, it's we are here not to become stagnant.
Mhm.
We are here to explore our limitless possibilities.
Yes.
We are here to continue to transform ourselves. That's why I always see myself as a perpetual student.
Yes.
Because the moment you make a conclusion about yourself, about somebody, then you will never be in full awareness anymore when you look at that somebody, because you already have a conclusion.
That's
You
true.
already have an judgment, you already have an attachment, you already have a resistance. So I call it the jar of life.
Yes.
So every time we see somebody with an added jar, an added judgment, an added attachment, and an added resistance, then we don't see them as they are, or we don't see the situation as they are. But when you remove that, when you consciously and in full awareness remove that, try to remove that. I know it's not easy. Sometimes it's difficult, but when you try to remove the judgment, when you try to remove the attachment, and when you try to remove the resistance, then you begin to see things as they are.
Yeah.
And it becomes more light. It becomes more effortless. It becomes more at ease, because you can enjoy someone that you did not like before,
Okay.
because you see them like a baby.
Evolving.
When a baby sees the world, the newborn, that's why babies are cute, because they
Yes.
don't know how to discriminate. They
That's
don't know how to judge. They don't have a conclusion yet. So they just see things as they are. That's why naturally babies are cute. And let's try to become
They're not biased too.
yeah,
Unlike us, we can have
correct. We already have our own biases.
our conclusions,
Yeah.
our own.
Correct. Like, for example, in my practice as a medical doctor, when somebody tells me, Doc, I got better like this, even if to me, it doesn't sound logically sound or
Mhm.
scientifically sound, I just tell the patient, go ahead. If you
Yes.
feel good talking to your tumor, go ahead. Yeah, before I heard that from patients, of course, logically it doesn't, huh? But now I understand and I tell them, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's also the freedom that you're giving them.
Yes,
at
yes,
that point.
freedom.
Yes. Well, this past 1 hour and a half, we have been talking about impressions of our fathers, the marks, the imprints they have left on us. What would you tell fathers right now on this special day where we celebrate your day as a father? Do you have any message to tell them on how to live life like what you're doing right now as an evolving father, evolving spirit, an evolving not just as a person, but I guess your potentials, you just don't recognize others about their potentials, but even you as an evolving Dr. Romy Paredes.
Yeah. So my message to fathers like me who are celebrating Father's Day, and my message is in line with what Mike already said, actually. Let's give our children freedom, not mold that we want them to be, because they are not exactly the same like us. They have infinite possibilities. Let them explore. Let them learn their own lessons. Let them try other new things that we haven't tried before. We may think that we have become successful fathers, but who knows? Maybe our definition of success is also distorted. I learned when I attended the inner engineering program in Hong Kong way back 2017, hosted by a yoga teacher named Sadhguru. I remember what he said during that 4-day program that I personally attended. Sabi niya, if I remember it right, sabi niya is, what is success? The
What
real,
is it?
yeah, the real authentic definition of success is this. If you can go through your life with joy, even through hell, then you are already a success.
Wow, that's so deep. If you can go through life
Joy,
with joy,
even through hell.
even through
Hell
hell,
is
as in hell.
samot-saring problema.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for those powerful words, Dr. Romy. And we surely would, if we could just have really children and parents, fathers like you, I think it would be a better world for all of us. So at this point of time, I would wish everyone to have a meaningful Father's Day. And when we look at our biological fathers, we don't have to, no, we would see that our fathers have only the best things for us. They only would want the best things that would occur in our lives. And right now, when I look at the Father, I would like and wish you to look at our spiritual Father, who I guess has brought us here right now into the light, that we are his children. And as his children, we have all the attributes that he has: the curiosity, the respectfulness that we give to our fathers, the freedom that the Father also has given us. You know, when you were talking about freedom earlier, I think some people were asking if God really was there, why is it that the world is like this right now? But it is also because of the freedom that our Father has given us. Just like you, Dr. Romy and Dr. Amila, you have given the opportunity for Michael to really grow the way he would want to grow. The free will that the Father has given us has brought us here, and now we are getting into the light once again, as the Father is revealed to all of us in a way that He is loving, He is faithful to us, He would always be there for us, and the Father that has limitless vision for His children. And I think we can go beyond, we can really go beyond where we are at right now, because the Father has made us the way we are, like Him. We are infinite, we are souls, we are immortal, and we are spirits. This is the very thing that perhaps on Father's Day we all become brothers all under one fatherhood of God. So with this, I would like to invite everyone for a meditation which will be given to us right now with Sister Helen.
I turn my attention inwards. I open my heart to God and bring into focus the understanding of myself as a being of light, non-physical and eternal. As I experience the reality of who I am freed from the pool of matter. My thoughts went into the comforting and secure feelings of love for the divine. I see the special value in relating to God as my spiritual father, my one strength and one support. I create an inner conversation and loving experience with my Supreme Father. Then I become equipped with the emotional resources needed to stay strong in the face of life's adversities, not only from external circumstances of chaos, but most especially from my internal struggles of doubts and insecurities. As a Supreme Father, God is like the sun, radiating the energy of truth, helping me grow with the creative power of His being, and with the serene atmosphere of the early morning, I feel His warmth and light awakening me, pushing away the shadows of my body consciousness, fears, doubts, and pain are all transformed into courage, faith, and joy, charging the battery of truth within me. His power altruistically shines into my being, protecting, guiding, and strengthening me. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Dr. Helen, for that meditation commentary. Yes, indeed. When we think of Father's Day today, we should also think of the greatest Father of all, our great spiritual Father, whom we call by different names. We call him God, we call him Allah, we call him Jehovah, we call him by different names. We call him Baba. And all these things, all these names, is only one. It's a loving and wonderful Father. So on this Father's Day, we all wish everyone would have a meaningful relationship, not just on this day, with their fathers, biological father, and the spiritual father. At this point, may I now ask our Princess D here to make the announcements for our program.
Good afternoon, everyone. We wish to invite you to our midweek meditation. This happens every Wednesday, 12:30 to 1 p.m. For June's theme is My Father, My One Strength and One Support. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you for reminding us of the theme for June on our meditation is My Father, My One Strength and One Support. Isn't it that our Father really is our one strength and one support? And everything is you feel is forsaken. There's only one Father and there's only that one strength and one support. So with this, I would like to ask our participants this afternoon to be with us here. And let's greet everyone Happy Father's Day. Come on. Michael? Oh, can you tell us how you feel right now?
Oh, sorry. I feel very relaxed. I am very happy that my dad was able to be here to hear all the things in person. And I'm very blessed to be invited by Tita Ellen again. So thank you so much, Tita. It was really a wonderful experience being here today.
And I love your team as father and son. Wonderful. It's such a big blessing to have you both in this program right now. So one last few words from our participants.
Thank you for having me, sharing my father's birthday. It's touching, really. Thank you.
Thank you, Inner Space, under the leadership of Sister Ellen, for having us and for giving us the opportunity to speak of our fathers. And fortunate is Michael, who still has his dad with him and his mom. Me, I only have memories of my father and my mother and my stepmother. So thank you, Sister Ellen.
Thank you too for everyone. Can we ask Duncan to give his last few words too?
Yes, look, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the forum today. You know, Romy, I was thinking of your JAR, your judgment, attachment, and resistance. And when you when children or people are subjected to that, they become like part of a jar. I thought that was really great because when you do that, it's very jarring. No, that was excellent.
That's
And
something I'm learning
and-
today. Jarring. Because you
I
put it
just
in jar.
it's that whole thing about the legacy of the generations, you know, like my parents' generation, they suffered immensely emotionally with the mores and conditioning of the society that they grew up into, and then had to make something of their lives. And I remember my father saying, you know, I remember when I was 45 and I said to him, hang on a minute, by the time you were 45, you had 4 children and a divorce on the way. And he said, when we were young, it was just one of those things you did. By the time you were 21, you were expected to be married. So, you know, the evolution that you talk about is very, very real and very important. And I believe that humanity as a brotherhood has to come to terms with that. And, you know, that's the relationship that we can have with the Supreme Soul, that we need to reinstill the joy in our lives and move away from the assumed conditioning. So thank you for letting me share Kenneth with you today.
Thank you very much to Duncan for sharing your father with us, Kenneth. So at this point, we would just like to say happy Father's Day. And to all the fathers listening right now, take care and all our love for you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yes. Acknowledgement. And as this afternoon, our appreciation to Sister Merle Mintel, who gave us the opening meditation commentary. And of course, we also would like to give our thanks to Sister Corazon, Alforque, Hartzog, and Michael Paredes as our guests. We also would wish to say thank you to Sister Ten Sevilla, Brother Duncan, and of course, Brother Mario, who is not with us in person, but thank you, Mario. And of course, the presence of a father here, Dr. Romy Paredes, who gave us a very special sharing of how he feels right now about his son, and of course, for producing a son like Michael. The freedom is really well presented to us right now. Thank you very much. Plus to all of you who joined us this special conversation on Father's Day. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Shanti, bye-bye.
Om Shanti.